Welcome to Discourse. Today we're talking about Artificial Condition by Martha Wells.
All the track tapes are ready.
So this is the second book in Martha Wells' Murderbot Diaries. And each one of them is like a novella, like it's a short story, under 200 pages. Very quick to get through. I got through book 1 fairly quickly. Book 2 also took me like 5 days to read, maybe like a total of 6 hours of reading. Very quick, which is why I love it. I'm super busy right now, so I just need quick books to get through. And this series is so like quirky and funny and action-oriented the entire way through. Yeah. So this book picks up right after book 1, where Murderbot is now on his own. He's free. He goes through some transformations in this one to make him look more human so that he can fit into society. And he is headed towards, I think it's like a planet or a moon or something, where he had apparently murdered a bunch of people. And he wants to go investigate to see what really happened. And on his way there, he meets some more humans. He forms some more connections. He meets a super smart, artificially intelligent, like, ship.
The research transport.
Yeah, while that ship is not, like, in transport, he's free to use his mind for, like, all kinds of other things. So Murderbot and Art become, like, reluctant best friends. And Art is an acronym for...
something research transport.
Yeah, asshole research transport.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he calls him. Short for Art, so he calls him Art the entire way.
It's so funny. Oh, my God.
So like I said, this whole book is just so quirky and funny, and the reason why we fell in love with the series in book 1 is because of his personality, and in book 2 that personality continues.
God.
And it's so much fun.
It is so funny. I love when he's constantly like, God, I hate this guy, but like he's right.
Yeah, he's right. And I think that's why they get along, is although he doesn't like Art because he's kind of like a stuck-up kind of like robot. Not that he means to.
Yeah. Or maybe he does. Maybe he also has like his snobby personality, but I feel like he's a research bot. So
that doesn't know a lot about humans.
Right, but he knows a lot of information. So yeah he's kind of like, well, I know things.
And Murderbot knows a lot about humans, and he's kind of like, has a different perspective on humans, and he watches a crap ton of soap operas. So he has this certain perspective of humans where Art doesn't, right? Yeah. He's just very like computational. And when they cross paths, Murderbot does give Art a bunch of... Remember? They basically Netflix and chill for days while they're traveling. And it changes Art.
For like 20 cycles, I think he said, or 40 cycles or something, whatever it was.
They're basically Netflix and chilling for like 20 cycles.
But I love how Art was like, I need you to watch it, and I need to be able to watch you watch it, because that's the only way that I can figure out what's going on in the actual show by your reactions and your facial expressions, or else he won't get it. And it's
that's
so
one
funny
thing that Martha Wells does really good, is this is a fun and action-oriented science fiction, but just those little moments brings so much depth to the story, right? Yeah. So Murderbot has all of these emotions, and that's why he likes soap opera. And Art doesn't have these emotions, so he needs to understand why people are so interested in these soap operas by reading Murderbot's emotions to the soap operas. Yeah. So it's a weird connection to it, and I love it because it made me like realize how artificial intelligence might come about emotions. Right. By understanding how other people experience those emotions. Yeah. It's fascinating. And between that, they are just watching dirty soap operas or like just smutty soap operas of like young teenagers going on adventures and
stuff. But I liked how he was like, he started a new series up that was kind of like...
It was like Sanctuary Moon.
No, it was totally different. It was World Hoppers.
Oh, that's
called World Hoppers. So it's about... was it an android or people or whatever going to different ships, just kind of like how he was doing it, but he was like, but it's not as like fun, it's not as dramatic and stuff. So he's like, so I went back to the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon,
and I think he said he rewatches it basically, right? He loves it so much he's just rewatching it.
It's just so good. He's like, turn that off, it's garbage. I'm gonna watch this because it's amazing.
Another human quirk that he has is tearing these shows apart.
I know,
right?
It's
like
so
that's what
funny.
we do, like at work, water cooler talk, right? What's the latest show you watched? Let's talk crap about it. That's exactly what he does.
I know, it's so cute. I love it.
And amongst all of that, we get a really good, very succinct action sequence, right? Because he meets some humans, that he needs to
The
protect
researchers, yeah.
on a dangerous mission to a moon or something.
No,
like
it's
that.
to that mining place.
To the mining facility.
So,
that's
the
shut
mining
down
facility.
because of all the murders that were happening.
Yeah. So so basically the whole thing is he needs to get a work permit in order to be let in on the planet or the mining, wherever that facility is. So the way he goes about it is he posts up a job listing as a security consultant, and then these researchers who are trying to get their research back from
Their
Grey Chris
previous employer.
their previous employer, whoever that is. And so they hire him, and that's his like ticket on to the place he needs to get. But then he slowly starts to care, and he's like why like I do this, but why do I care? Like, you know.
Because there's a moment where he could easily just go do what he came to do and let the humans just figure it out on their own.
Kill
but they're
themselves.
likely going to die.
Yeah.
So, dang it, why do I care?
I know, he's like, but of course I care. Like, why do I care about this? Why can I just not let them go and kill themselves?
So, each book is a short story, but I think collectively it tells a larger story, right? And in each one, we get a little bit more about Murderbot and basically bots in general, right? So in the first one, we just learned about Murderbot, and you're like, oh, this artificially intelligent person is having emotions and doesn't like people. Now we're introduced to Art, which is a different kind of artificially intelligent person. And what I like is that Martha Wells is slowly, within these novellas, explaining how these robots are coming about these emotions. Let me read a quote. When constructs were first developed, they were originally supposed to have a pre-sentient level of intelligence. But you can't put something as dumb as a hauler bot in charge of security without spending even more money for expensive human supervisors. So they made us smarter. The anxiety and depression were side effects. So again, it's just makes you think like they're intelligent, right? So do they have to have emotions? If you're an intelligent robot, does emotions just become part of the package, or does he have emotions because he has some human parts in him? Because he often does reference like
His human parts.
he has these emotions, and he's like, oh, it's just my human parts or something like that.
I think it depends on what kind of a bot, because there are quite a few different types and different levels, and I think for him, like, he's a security bot or android or whatever, so he kind of needs to have some sort of feelings, because he needs to know the feeling of danger or those types of emotions to understand how to take care of a human being.
Oh, and that's his job, right? He's protecting humans, so he needs to understand humans a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's where the emotions may have came from?
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's specifically what they do, because it's like you can't have a robot being a dentist, because they'll never know if the person is in pain or not.
Jackhammer to your teeth. He's like, why are they crying? I don't understand. There's some water buildup around their eyes.
But if you give them like empathy or like some kind of caring emotion, they'll be like, are you feeling pain? Do you need more anesthetic? You know what I mean? So that they can take the right steps. So I think it just depends on the type of bot.
That's true, because we learn about Art in this one, that artificially intelligent transport. And he doesn't have emotions, essentially, right? But he's just super smart, and he wants to learn about emotions. And that's kind of why he gets interested in those soap operas.
And he also just likes to know stuff. I feel like he's just a super smart bot that just can't get enough information about things and likes to do research and likes to help.
And I think that's why Murderbot didn't like him, right?
I know, because he was annoying.
He was annoying, and he was still like connected to his human controllers, right? Where Murderbot wasn't. He was like on his own. So he didn't like that Art still cared about humans, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, we know that he also cares about humans.
Yeah, against his will cares.
Yes.
I guess not against his will. He just doesn't want to care so badly, but he does.
I also, though, I think it's kind of funny. I know that he needed a type of job to get onto the mining place, the facility, but I know he does security, or he did it in the past. Why is that always the job he keeps like running into? He's like, gosh, why is this always the one thing I do?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He could have been like, he has some knowledge of like
other things,
navigation, biology, maybe a medic, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
he seems capable of learning new things too. Like, why can't he just download stuff and be like, okay, I could do this?
Yeah, that just seems to be his default. He does have weapons like embedded in his arms, so maybe that's just an easy go-to.
Yeah, I guess.
So this is a quote that kind of speaks to what you were just saying. I was used to taking orders from humans and trying to mitigate whatever damage their stupid ideas did to them. But I had wanted to work with a group again. I had enjoyed how they had listened to me. I had put my need to get to Rabbi Hyrule above the safety of my clients. I was just as shit at being a security consultant as any human.
So funny.
Right.
That's
Rabbi
what
Hyrule,
Rabbi Hyrule.
I think that's the place he was going, right?
You're right.
He's like an emotionally angsty teen, kind of, with
Still.
way too much experience about human beings.
Yeah.
But, right, like I feel like his experience is like decades ahead of normal people, but his emotional intelligence is like at a teenage level, right? Because he still struggles with that, and a lot of times throughout this story, it's like him grappling with emotions, trying to understand them, and trying to like reconcile them within himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why do I care about humans? I don't want to care about them, but I do, and I have to save their lives. So it's often him questioning things while he's shooting things and killing people.
But I think, like what I was saying before, I think it's because the type of job that he was designed to do.
Yeah.
I think he had to have some level of care. Because, he's security. You care for other people's security.
Yeah, and I really... Again, I was surprised at how much I liked this story because because the first half of the first book, I was like, this is dumb. I was like, why is this guy talking like so monotone? And he's like such an angsty teen. Like, I don't care. But then you realize what he is, that he's like a sentient robot. He's coming to terms with a lot of his emotions. I'm like, this is fantastic. I loved it. And then book 2, I was like, how do you keep that up? It might get tiring, right? That whole trope of like the robot being an angsty teen.
Yeah.
Like, but it didn't get tiring. And I think it's because she doesn't hit it so often, so hard on the head. She like very like easily breaks this up between like a mystery, an angsty teen, a comedy, and then action, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes back through those emotions of mystery, science, action, and then rinses and repeats. And she's able to do all of this within like 180 pages or something like that. And which I love because I hate long novels.
And
I hate them.
I know, and I almost feel like I wish it was longer just because
I
just love it.
Okay,
But that's why
I think
she has a million books.
I said I hate long novels. That's not true. I feel like just in long novels, authors often feel like
they
don't need to be succinct, so they can just take as long as they want exploring ideas. And I'm like, look, I get it. Let's move on. Where in shorter novels, especially with Martha Wells' writing, we're constantly moving on.
Yes.
There's a short idea. That idea is over with, and we are moving on to the next idea.
Yeah. Although there were, I think, in this one, a few little lulls. That's when he finally got into the actual facility that he worked at, and he was just sitting there for a while, like connected to whatever, trying to get all the information and data. And I think it was like 10 hours or something like that. I mean, it didn't seem like it to us, but it did seem like kind of drawn out, and it was kind of like, okay, nothing's really going on.
And I guess another lull in the story would be when him and some other person had rented a room and they fell asleep.
Right.
That seemed like an odd moment in the story because you're right. Like, there was very few lulls in the story, and this one didn't really serve any purposes other than to just slow the story down completely.
A little bit. And it was kind of weird that what was it, emotional bot? What did they call her?
Yeah. Oh, no, she was like a sex worker.
Yeah, but they don't call her that. A sex bot, but they don't call her that. I forgot
a pleasure bot or something like that?
Something. Yeah. And I was kind of like, okay, so it was just to have that connection with him and her?
Yeah.
Because that was kind of a relationship that they formed too. Like, they became entrusted to one another because she also wanted help.
Yeah, she's still that sex bot still had ties to her human, so she couldn't completely be free. Right. But in the back of her mind, she was like, I so desperately want to be free, but I still have to obey my master's orders. Right. That was fascinating. I guess, but again, like, Martha Wells is just so good where even in the lulls, we're given like this emotional connection to another bot that's trapped within herself, right? And then right after that, there's just like hard-hitting action. Right after that, right?
After that.
So that's what I love about these short novellas and Martha Wells' writing is she's getting to the point.
Yeah. And actually, if you listen for audiobooks, it was like less than 4 hours.
Yeah, it took me maybe 10 hours to read. I mean, I don't know what that means to you because we all have different like reading speeds, but it was pretty quick. I liked it. It was so funny. So when this ended, I was like, bring on book 3 immediately. I immediately went and bought book 3 because, you know, reading book 1 and book 2 and both of them being good, I was like, I am more than positive that book 3 is going to be great.
For sure. But, you know, it's kind of sad because now he's leaving art. Like, their friendship is kind of coming to a close. And I'm like,
spoiler alert.
Maybe he'll come
Jeez.
back. People, chill.
Yeah, it was a bittersweet ending, although I thought it was okay. I wish it had ended differently, but I think, again, the sharp writing, Martha Wells can take me anywhere.
I know, but on art. With art.
That would have been, and I thought that's where it was going. Like, he
Yeah,
was
me too.
collecting this kind of like motley crew
Yes.
of different robots. I
Yeah.
thought that's what was going to happen, but it
But
doesn't
it's
look like
not.
it's going in that direction. I thought he was going to find Art, which is a ship. Great, now he's in the ship. And then in different books, I thought he was going to bring on different types of robots that want to be free, and he's going to lead like this robot uprising.
Right?
No, it doesn't look like it's going in that direction.
I know, I was kind of hoping, because I was like, he's been hopping around all these different, like, transports and
Transport,
freights
yeah.
and stuff. I was like, poor guy, he just needs his own ship.
That's
Like,
what I was thinking
so
too.
I
I was
really
like,
thought that's where that
Yeah,
was
wouldn't it be
going.
safer and cheaper just to have your own ship?
Yeah.
And then a smart ship like Art that can simply change like the manifest or like landing code
Yeah.
or whatever.
He had zero
Really
issues
show
helping him out with everything he needed.
Yeah, so
That was crazy.
Yeah, Art's ship would have been fantastic. Imagine that story. Martha Wells writing that story where Murderbot is like the captain of a ship and he's collecting all of these different types of robots. A sex bot that is now like
Yeah.
working on the ship and
Yeah.
different types of droids. And
That'd be pretty cool.
man, that would have been so fun. And they're just like scampering around the universe, like getting into mischief, into robot mischief.
But I don't think Murderbot really likes other bots.
Yeah, it doesn't
He's-
seem like he likes anybody.
Yeah, that's true. But he keeps saying like, "Ugh, I just hate bots. You know?
But he loves Sanctuary Moon. And you know what would be funny? If one of the future novels, he comes across one of the actors.
Oh my god.
What would he do?
He's
Would
gonna
he act like a
fangirl it out.
fangirl out?
Yeah, he's gonna be like, ah! That
That's
would be
what
so funny. Or maybe you never know.
There's
still
like, what, 6, 7, 8 books? Let me
Yeah,
look really
it's
quick.
a lot.
6 books.
6 books. That's a lot of books.
Yeah, so there's 6 books in the series. I hope in one of them, he fangirls out when he meets some actor from Sanctuary Moon.
Or some of the characters come back. Like maybe Art comes back for like some.
I hope so.
Another
I
mission or
liked
something.
Art. I liked their relationship. Although he doesn't have to come back. Martha Wells is so good at writing that she could create whatever she wants in the future and bring us on board.
I
with
know,
any
but
new
then
characters.
like us as readers, we also get connected to characters. I felt like, oh man.
If I had to
Yeah.
guess, I'm going to guess that Art's going to come back somewhere towards the end of the series, maybe book 5 or 6, just to easily hit that nostalgia button.
Yeah,
for-
see? And you're
yeah.
like, oh, my old friend.